This Vermont utility outlook is valid the rest of today. Good Saturday morning to you. This is the Velco Weather Hazards Outlook. This is valid the rest of today, Saturday, through next Friday, December the 18th. Well, no immediate concerns for utilities into next week. We're looking at two periods where there could be some gradient wind gusts approaching thresholds, roughly around 40 miles per hour. This will take place Tuesday and again along about Thursday. Best project weather days the rest of today, Saturday, and again to the middle part of the week on Wednesday. Unseasonably warm, mild weather will continue. This will be turning colder with a first significant colder air mass beginning to work in that we've seen so far this December. This would be working in toward the end of next week, and possibly some coatings from lake effect snow plumes, but fairly low confidence on that. What you're looking at right now, first of all, is we have a weather system here that's going to be one of the main weather systems that's going to track across toward the Great Lakes and make a little bit of a right turn and through our neck of the woods here in Vermont. It's going to bring us primarily rain. We have a very strong area of higher pressure off to the south and east of us, and this continues to control the influence of the weather here. You're seeing total snow on the ground here, fairly light snow is just to our north, a little bit north of the Connecticut Lakes region. And then also this is back, of course, into the western part of the United States where the main incoming strong storm systems are producing some heavy mountain snows there, but not so much for the east. Instead, we're looking at very much out-of-season kind of weather. And take a look at the crazy temperatures, pretty much split across the country here with wintertime temperatures across the Rockies, the Intermountain West, even parts of California this morning. Of course, in the east, we have a broad circulation of a southerly and then southwesterly flow. This is bringing temperatures in the 60s and then the 50s and 40s across Vermont. This is going to be the case over the next several days to come. And looking at the European model here, first of all, at this sort of snapshot, this is valid at 1 o'clock this afternoon. You can see the influx of mild air circulating around this area of higher pressure, and then coming at us basically from the west. A little bit of sprinkles possibility on Sunday, but Sunday could also be a fairly good project weather day as it looks right now. So this is valid roughly about 1 o'clock. What we're looking at here is a little bit of an area of higher pressure off to the north of us, and a bit of a warm front that's going to try to move on through. And a little bit of precipitation that moves in here. It looks like this would be valid on Monday. And then continuing that, you can see more precipitation with a storm system. This is a part of jet stream energy that's broken off, and it's producing a couple different areas of low pressure that kind of a wave of low pressure that works and develops and moves across Vermont. But the main center is going to be tracking up to the north of us. So as it does, we have some opportunity for some gradient wind gusts, first from the southeast and south. That'll happen on Tuesday. And then beyond that, looks like we'll see a little bit on the backside of the system as we move into Thursday. A little bit of a break in the action there. And we could see another weather system begin to move into the region on Thursday with another shot of precipitation. Now, this is the colder air mass that's going to work in for the last part of next week. And as it does so, we finally get some temperatures in our neck of the woods, at least the northeast United States, adjacent Canada, the upper Midwest, the Great Lakes, that are actually below the freezing mark. So what precipitation that does develop late next week and into next weekend will be in the form of snow. And it does look like we'll see just a little bit of minor coatings, but that's going to be about it. Otherwise, nothing real significant to worry about here. So looking a little bit longer range, we have that next weather system that moves in on Thursday, and then it's Thursday night into Friday that we look at the possibility of a little bit of wet snow with some of these lake effect streamers. You see these streamers downwind of the Great Lakes in terms of precipitation. That's a classic lake effect signature. And again, you can see it east of Lake Ontario, a little bit across northern Vermont as we head into basically Saturday and Sunday next weekend. In terms of total precipitation from the Weather Prediction Center, 7-day total precipitation accounts through next Saturday morning, you can see basically up around an inch, but barely that, and less off to the south of us and southwest. And GFS Ensemble this morning shows the main precipitation maker here, roughly around 4/10 of an inch, a little bit over that in some places. We might see as much as 6/10 of an inch. And then you can see as time goes on past the 17th, 18th, we get into the blue lines here, the plumes, the whiskers, showing that Precipitation could be in the form of frozen and kind of a scattering to come, but nothing significant either way. Well, the main issue is the influences of combination of the polar vortex being fairly strong, holding a lot of the coldest Arctic air up to the north of us, a strong El Nino, and a dump across the Pacific of some of the coldest air from eastern portions of Siberia into the Gulf of Alaska, some of that making some inroads into the western United States. You can see here in the eastern and northeastern areas, we're running anywhere from 12 to 18 degrees above normal. What about 3 days later? Well, that was for the last 5 days. You can add 3 days on top of that through and into next weekend. It's still well above normal, 12 to 15 degrees, but a dent moving in with slightly cooler air behind a couple different weather systems. In terms of daily temperatures, nothing significant. This is centered on Montpelier, and you can see basically highs in the 40s to near 50, and overnight lows at night basically a little bit above the 32-degree mark. When precipitation moves in, it's going to be in the form of rain. Doesn't even look like any glazing or icing issues, with the temperatures rising basically in the mid and upper 40s, or low to mid 40s, and it looks like the overnight lows will remain above the freezing mark up until the time we get into late next week, and then a definite significant fall in temperature. Kind of longer range look here from the climate forecast system. You can see maximum temperature on the 15th for warmth, and then a cool off that's going to be taking place. But you can see temperature is the center line here, this gray line. Conditions, except for right here, are mostly above normal, and it does look like we get into significantly above normal once again once we get just a little bit past approximately Christmas, December 25th, and you can see that temperatures overall average above normal going into fairly long here into the first week of January. And looking at the European ensemble, you can see above normal temperatures here, somewhere around 15 degrees above normal. This is valid around the 15th of the month. And you can see that the only real weakening you see is slightly cooler air, and then actually below normal. This is roughly around the 20th of the month. And then the 21st, 22nd, you can see that that gets replaced by warmer air and warmer conditions once again, although not as warm as it once was. But the further this goes out, the more dampened down the extremes will be. Needless to say, we're running probably somewhere around 5 to 10 degrees above normal. And this, unfortunately, is valid on Christmas Eve day. And there's Christmas, and you can see that not a lot to choose from in terms of below normal temperatures. Even when we go out past into the second and third day of January, it's still showing up warmer than normal if the modeling is correct. And if anything, it's really the western part of North America that sees the cold air coming in via the Pacific Ocean. That's it from here. Roger Hill, Wuthering Heights.